Hey everyone. So today we're taking a look at a card game called One Deck Dungeon. It is a solo or one or two player game. So you either play two-player co-op or you can play it solo, and you're trying to defeat a boss at the end of a dungeon. So you're like crawling through the dungeon. We're not going to do a full playthrough of it. There's plenty of playthroughs that are on YouTube. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the game and you know, point out some of the things I like about it. There's also an expansion available called Forest of Shadows. It adds a poison mechanic to the game. It's also one to two players. You can buy either version of the game. They're both standalone, so you don't have to have both. But if you do have both, you can combine them together, and you can play up to four players with both sets, or you can have two of of either and do that as well. But in the base game, you'll have you choose a character. There's a warrior, a paladin, an archer, a mage, and a rogue. And in the expansion, there's some different classes like rangers and druids and things like that. But there's a one player and a two player side. So they change in power uh, based on how many people are playing. So if you're playing by yourself, it buffs the character up basically to make it easier for you to win. It's a fairly difficult game. I don't always win it. In fact, I guess I rarely win it. If I'm being honest, it's pretty tough. Um, so basic gist of the game is you're flipping over these dungeon cards to do what's called like burning time. So you spend time, and then that's to do any of your actions, and then you explore these rooms. So like I'd say I wanted to explore this room, I would uncover it. There's a monster in there, so then I have to fight the monster. So to fight the monster, I'm going to use combinations of these dice based on the stats on my character. So my character has four attack, two of the dex style, which are the pink dice, and one of the magic. So the warrior's not very magic. She's tough. She's a fighter type, right? So she really wants to run into things that require like yellow, which is what these boxes are. So basically, I would take a combination of these dice like this. So that's her dice that she gets, and I'm going to roll them, and I'm trying to get totals that fill in these little boxes. And if I can fill in all the boxes, uh, I'll defeat the creature, and then I can claim it. For any boxes that are left uncovered, I take that damage or time penalty. So I take either damage to my character, or if it's the little hourglass, then I have to burn cards off. And the reason burning the cards off is bad is the faster you get to the bottom of the deck, then the faster you get to the stairs. There's a stairwell at the bottom of the deck, and then once you hit the stairs, you have to descend down to the next level. So you do that over here, and each time you go down a floor, it gets harder, all right? Because you also have to complete little things over here on the dungeon. Also has a condition that has to be met. So not only do you have to fill in these tiles, you also have to fill in these, like these on fights and these on traps. And then once you get down to the bottom, uh, you have to fight a boss. So there'll be a boss at the very end. So in this case, this is the dragon's cave. So once you got to the end, you would have to fight the dragon, who's very powerful. Um, the difference between a boss fight and a regular fight is regular fights happen over one round, where boss fights are multi-round. So you keep fighting them until either you kill the boss or the boss kills you. Uh, but that's the basic gist of the game. Normally it's just a single play sort of thing. You just play through it and you either win or you lose. Um, I love, as you're building up. Oh, forgot to mention, so let's say when you defeat this, so when you defeat one of the creatures, one of the cool things I really like about this game is you get the card as loot. So the card is your loot, and you can either add it to your character's side, so it levels up, their abilities. So you add it like this. So now your character would get 3 pink dice, and she gets an extra heart in this case, right? And that's an item. So items come over here, and I'm level 1, so I can only have 1 item, and I can have 2 skills. So a skill is this at the bottom, so this bar at the bottom. So if I wanted to take this card as a skill, I would put it like this under my character sheet. And now during combat or traps or whatever, I can use either of these abilities, right? Or I can take the card as XP, and then I would turn it like this and put it up under here. And when I get to 6 XP, then I would level up to level 2, and then I can have 3 items, or I can have 3 skills. So each time you defeat a room or a creature or a trap, you have multiple things you can do with the cards to kind of power up your character, and you're trying to make these choices on, do I want to level up so I can have more items and skills? Do I need to take this as an item now? Do I need it as a skill? You can also find potions, and potions go under the card over here, which give you different ways that you can use your little potion cubes that you'll pick up during the game. But a lot of flexibility in the game, a lot of fun. Once you've either uncovered all the rooms, or let's say you go to a room and you don't want to fight that guy because he's too tough, and you flee, then he stays there, right? And then you can explore, and basically you're adding more doors that you can explore. But every action you take burns time. So before you did that, you would burn more time off the deck, right? So it's like you're constantly burning through this deck, which is forcing you down the dungeon and making the game harder as you go. So some really, really interesting mix of mechanics. It really does take a lot of thought about, pressing your luck. Do I really want to fight that guy? Can I afford to take the damage? Will I have a potion left? Boy, I really need that XP, or I really need that, particular item or that skill. So you go for it. If you flee too often, you end up burning through the time too fast. You burn through the deck too quick, and then you end up having to descend, but you're not powerful enough yet. Because you haven't earned enough levels or enough, items and skills for your character, so you're not going to be nearly powerful enough to beat the boss at the end. So it's a really, really interesting game, one that I've had a lot of fun with, and fits in a little tiny box. It's super inexpensive. I'll look it up on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in it. But fairly short playtime, about 30 minutes. You can play it in less. The more you play it, the faster you get at going through it. Another interesting feature of the game is it has a campaign mode. So like this is a campaign I'd started with my daughter and her boyfriend, and we only got to play once. So we actually we played once together, but she actually played a separate time by herself and earned some extra points. But I was playing the archer, she was playing the paladin, and Isaac was playing the rogue. And you earn XP, for different things you do. So completing a floor gets you a check, and you can put it in these different areas. And then when you start the next game, you'll start off, if you fill all this in, like we're veterans now, so we start each game with one basic skill. So there's an extra skill that we can get at the beginning of the game, which are these, and we can add one of these skills. We can choose which one we want. Like say I wanted True Strike, for my warrior, for instance, then I can put that under there, and I would start the game with True Strike, which is kind of cool. but there's all these different abilities. So you're trying to figure out again, where do I want to spend my points? Guile, you can use attack as dex, which would be great if you're trying to get through certain traps or certain creature types, that need more of the pink dice to fill them in, but you have a lot of the attack. So anyway, interesting things there. Again, the Forest of Shadows has all different character classes and also adds a poison mechanic, which is just neat. And I just picked up the new expansion for it, which is why I'm thinking about the game right now. This just came in the mail, and I haven't even had a chance to open it yet, so I was going to open it up real quick. And the expansion adds 6 fiends and 3 new heroes. Okay. So you guys get to see them for the first time with me. Interesting. So this is an entirely new type of game. Huh. Very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to digging into that. You get a shark wisp, mirrorflexion, endless kelp, terror shell, a spout elemental, and a tidal snake. And for the new classes, you get an aquamancer, a dragoon, and a witch. Oh, one other interesting thing about the one deck dungeon is all of the heroes are females. There are no males. So if you'll notice on the art, they're all female. Same for the expansion. And same for the new expansion. So anyway, thought that was kind of interesting. There's no male versions of any of the characters. So I guess this explains how the new threat to your dungeon adventures, fiends who hound you throughout your entire quest to reach the boss and complete the dungeon. During setup, you can now select a fiend in addition to heroes and a dungeon. The fiend card will remain in play through all floors of the dungeon, only leaving when you reach the boss. Very cool. So it adds a whole new mechanic to the game. Huh, that's going to be tough. The game's already hard enough. This is really going to make it interesting. So that should be cool. Very neat. All right, I'm looking forward to playing with that. Anyway, that's a quick look at One Deck Dungeon. Again, I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out.